Hi everyone, today we're going to learn the differences between YARU versus SURU, also known as yarimasu and shimasu. So both of these are generally interchangeable and they both mean to do something. So there's some key differences when you should use them, but let's start with SURU. So SURU, also commonly known as shimasu, in the present tense, it's often mixed with nouns. So, if you take a noun and it's just a word on its own, you can convert that into a verb pretty easily just by adding it to suru. A really good example here is dansu. We can make that into to dance by saying dansu suru. Pretty easy. Another example here we've got is benkyo. By adding shimasu, we can make this into benkyo shimasu. And we've got another example here, which is sentaku. So on its own, it means laundry, but when we add it to shimasu, it goes to do laundry. Also, it can be used with adjectives. So a really good example that we can use here is kirei. Kirei by itself means clean or neat or tidy. So by adding it with shimasu, with the particle ni, it means to make clean. And we also use shimasu when we're deciding on something. So when you're at the restaurant, you might be ordering food and you can add shimasu there to say you've decided on that with the waiter. So an example here is to say sushi ni shimasu means I'll have the sushi. But when in doubt, the best thing you should do is use suru or shimasu because you'll know that will be generally accepted. Now when it comes to yaru, it's a little bit more of a casual word, but it's almost a little bit like give. And not exactly, but a little bit like the English give. So we generally avoid using it with nouns. In some cases you might see that casually, but we really wouldn't hear dansu yaru. A good example here is when we want to send something away, and not necessarily a parcel, but to give away. Here we've got an example which is senjo e yaru, which means to give away to war or to send away to war. You also might give something to someone who's below you in the hierarchy, so that could be an animal or a plant or children. And a good example of this is esa or yaru, which means to feed grain or vegetables or to give grain. And sometimes we'll see this with sexual intercourse, a little bit like in English where we say to do it. You might see that in Japanese as well. So here's an example: atashi yaritai no, which means do you want to do me, or it could mean do you want to give it to me. So now you know the differences between yaru and suru. Let's see if you can use them in conversation yourself.